Start by taking the wheel out according to the manufacturer's specification. After you have taken the wheel out, you will need to remove the original hub end cap if you are on the E13 wheel set. So, this pinch bolt needs to come out. Using a 3mm Allen key, just untighten the pinch bolt. There is no need to completely remove it. Next, you will need either a 20mm open-ended wrench or an adjustable wrench to grab a hold of these two parallel surfaces. Okay? You can either use one of these or a 20mm if you have one. To hold the other side of the axle in place, you will need a cone wrench of 17mm. So, grab a hold of one side and the other, and remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. It's enough to just rotate this around 90 degrees, it will already come undone. For the next step, it is best to rest the wheel on a flat surface, because as you unthread this end cap, the whole cassette assembly and the axle can fall out. So just unthread this until it comes completely off. So with your Decoy Planet 3 version, you will receive a new end cap which ensures the compatibility with the Planet 3, okay? Along with two very thin shims if you are one of the first 30 people to order, because the machine shop made a mistake on this part and it's actually two tenths too low, so this seal kind of produces some friction. So that's solved with this. So next step you need to do is to transfer the seal from your old end cap to the new one. So you'll just take it with your fingers and it pops right off, okay? And just pop it back on to the new one. Okay, just press it on one side and then go with your finger all around the circumference until you feel it seat all over. Okay, like this, and then you can use your finger to go around like that. And these two little shims will actually go here, but we will put them on the axle. Next, put a very light smear of assembly grease on the hub end cap and smear it around with your finger all across the seal and the end cap surface. Whatever grease is left on your finger, you can use to lightly grease the already pre-greased shims. Now place both of these shims onto the axle so they find the seat on the bearing surface. Next, you will take your end cap and just thread it on. Just thread it until the point of contact, or just snug, okay, with your hand. And that's it. Next, you will again take your 17mm cone wrench and insert it onto the axle on the cassette side. And you will take now a 19mm open-ended wrench for the new end cap, okay? And then you will tighten just 45 degrees, okay? Next, you will use a Torx 25 to remove all the rotor bolts and the original magnet. Each Planet 3 device is delivered with a set of 6 very standard ISO metric bolts that have medium Loctite 248 pre-applied to them. Install the rotor back on using the supplied screws by skipping every other hole. Tighten these 3 bolts with a torque of 6.2 Nm. Please make sure that the surface is clean and level so that the Planet 3 sun gear can sit on a level surface. Next, you will take the Planet 3 and align it so that the holes on the Planet 3 sun gear are aligned with the remaining 3 holes on the rotor. Next, you will insert the 3 remaining ISO screws. When the sun gear has some wiggle room, but the bolts are almost in contact, I want you to try to hold the sun gear firmly pressed against the disc without moving it, and then try to rotate the axle. Feel if there is any friction or sound. So there is at one point. Then you will move it slightly with your fingers, this is like tenths of a millimeter, and rotate again. okay, until we can hear that there is absolutely no sound. Then hold it in place and just finger tight all 3 screws. And one of them moved. Okay, so undo this and then we do it again. Okay, this is completely free now. Okay, again, tighten the remaining 3 screws with 6 Nm. Next, we will insert the planets onto the sun gear. For the YT Decoy, this means inserting 2 planets because the device is actually a Planet 1.5 instead of a Planet 3. So, one is the most logical to go over a screw, okay? And then the other one you will place in a 180-degree phase, okay? Then you can look at your wheel and kind of tell if they're 180 degrees or completely opposite one another, okay? This you can just eyeball if your eyeballs work. If not, just get a ruler or something. They should be, one goes into the tooth and the other goes into the tooth cavity, okay? Because on the sun gear there's an odd number of teeth, so it actually has to go on the opposite sides. The only remaining step is to cover the Planet 3 with the outside ring gear, which has the internal gearing, okay? So you will rotate the end cap so that the 2 wrench cutouts are, let's say, vertical or horizontal, whatever works for you. And the important thing is to notice that on the cover, the ring gear also has 2 of these little clips that will slide onto the wrench cutouts. So just align them and slide it on, okay? Once you can feel that it went in at least a millimeter, it's time to rotate the wheel to the side and get a proper installation depth. Now, the proper installation depth can be achieved by these clips on the side seating onto the bottom of the wrench cutouts, but this depends largely on disc thickness and hub tolerance and everything. So the proper installation depth for the Planet 3 itself is when this lip over here, the black one, hides the white one that you can see underneath. I will now slightly push this inside on one side, okay? And now you can see that it almost hides the edge, and then you can rotate slightly, okay? And then push more, and then just keep rotating and slightly pushing with your finger here on the bevel surface. Do not push on the outside. Then keep rotating, and now we can see there's a little bit visible here. Keep rotating, and you can maybe see just a hairline of that edge, and that's it. Okay, that's the proper installation depth for the Planet 3. At this point you need to verify that the planets are indeed in a 180-degree phase by using the 2 extra magnets that were delivered with your device. Just place it on the outside of the ring gear and it will snap to the magnet's position, and then the other one should be somewhere here. Maybe you just need to reverse the pole, okay? And then when you rotate this, they will move, okay? This does not look exactly like a 180-degree phase, because this one should be here. Okay, so this is not properly installed, and we will open this now. Now, once you open the ring gear, the magnets will of course snap to whatever attracts it first, so they will not remain in phase anyway. Okay, and now we will redo it. Okay. That looks 180. Okay. And now let's do our verification test. Okay. And that looks properly installed. Now the only thing left to do is to put the wheel back into the bike and go for a run. This concludes the installation instructions for the Planet 3 for Decoy version blah 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 blah.